we have so much talent. Oh, the talent, you know, you can see it, and you see just certain guys now trying to adjust the roles, and they don't. It seems like, you know, they know them, but they don't play towards it. And you know, like you can say, I can't. I'm not here to speak bad on any program in the country, whether it's Tulsa or South Florida or Western Kentucky or VCU, and Eric Maynard is my guy, and he was talking trash to me, but we should beat those. We should beat those teams. You know, with the talent that we have in place right now. On a bad day, when things aren't going, and guys are playing hard and are scrapping and getting out in transition, which we don't do much, we should be able to beat a lot of those teams. But you know, I think, me personally, I think Penny's gonna get the kids there. Now it's a matter of himself, you know, the guys on the staff coming together and kind of getting these guys rolling a little bit. You know, I don't know how it operates. I haven't been to one practice, but for instance, like when Kyle was there with us, certain things like DK would do, certain things Barbie would do, certain things Robick would do, certain things Ross Strickland would do, Orlando Antigua they would do, Chuck Martin. They came into practice, and it's like, holy snap, how do they know like what time? And you know, now you look back, they had the sheets, and it was so structured, and they had their segments, and they did the, you know, Orlando would do things with the bigs and the defense and the shuffles, and I don't know if it's just dominated by Penny or if it's dominated by certain coaches, but it got to be where, because these kids coming off and like everyone is kind of, and when we came off, you knew what coach to go sit next to, you knew what they were going to say, and it would just made things a lot easier for us.
I've been in, some shoot-arounds, and I will tell you that the attention to detail is impressive, and it's not just Penny's voice. You know, when Mike was there, Mike had a voice in these shoot-arounds. Cody Toppert had a voice in these shoot-arounds. I honestly think sometimes they overload them a little bit, like with the attention to detail. Like I remember one time I was talking to Penny before a game, and he was talking about the previous game, and he said, yeah, you know, we went in at halftime, and we showed them film. And I had never heard of a college basketball coach showing film at halftime of a game. I mean, did you guys ever do that?
No, never.
Right. I had never heard of that. And so I even asked some college coaches, like, hey, do you show film at halftime ever? And they're like, no, we don't do that. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's unusual. And I remember one of the things, Cal, and you could speak to this or correct me if I'm wrong, but like if you guys had a game tomorrow against East Carolina, Cal wouldn't talk about East Carolina until 10 minutes the last practice, like the practice before the game. Robick would come out for 10 minutes and run you guys through like 3 things, and that was it. And I remember talking to Cal about it one time, and he said, I don't want them thinking too much. I don't want them worrying about every little thing because they're not equipped to handle it. Let's focus on these 3 things, and if we're great at these 3 things, we're gonna be fine. And so, like the prep for the opponent was always pretty done pretty quickly. And I contrast that with, I think the intentions are good. Like when you sit down and talk to Penny or Cody Toppert about what they're trying to do on offense, it sounds great. And they know exactly, they could pull out a piece of paper, draw it up. Okay, ball screen here. Now we're going to put the ball here. You got a shooter here. It all makes sense. And I'm sure the players understand it in film room. Like you can stop the film and say, all right, Landers, what are you supposed to do here? And he's like, I'm supposed to hit this shooter, coach. Exactly right. But I'm sure but then when they get in the game, it doesn't work. And I think sometimes, Penny was an amazing basketball player, amazing vision, amazing mind. He could see things other people couldn't see, and then he could do things other people can't do. And I think sometimes when that's comes so easily to you, you don't understand why Alex Lomax can't do the same thing. Like, hey, Alex, why didn't you see that? Well, because he's not you. That's the most obvious answer. So I think sometimes they've been maybe overloaded a little bit with information. And then I don't want to oversimplify it, but they talk all the time about NBA offense. It's hard to run an NBA offense without NBA players. Like go try to run the Houston Rockets offense without James Harden. That's not going to work anymore. And so I think you're right. Penny is now simplifying it a little bit to try to make it less about reads and more about just playing basketball. And I think that'll be helpful. But I've been around this long enough to know it can be hard to try to adjust on the fly in the middle of a season because it's a difficult thing to do.